This video will show how to make a birthday card that I decided to make for my daughter. I've gone through several different techniques in this card, and I wanted to give you a quick illustration on how I made it. I used these stickers that I found which were so cute and adorable for the pandas, and I also have a very pretty flower embellishment, and I have a die cut which does the filigree heart embellishment. It's very delicate. Also, I'm using an embossing folder, and I'm using an ink over the embossing folder technique to bring out the texture of the card. On the inside of the card, I have another die cut of a heart, and I have a special stamp set which allows you to make script words using one letter at a time, and it looks like it's a complete word when it's all said and done. Okay, let's go over the materials. I have a piece of pattern paper cut 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. Black cardstock cut 3 1/2 by 2 1/2. Another piece cut 5 1/4 by 4. Green cardstock cut 5 by 3 3/4. A white scrap at least 3 1/2 inches square. This is larger, of course. Green scrap at least 4 inches square. And black scrap at least 3 1/2 inches square. All those were bigger. And a green card base cut at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. I'm also using Versafine Onyx Black ink. And I got this a long time ago. It's Colorbox Vellum Quotes Family Edition. And it has a lot of interesting quotes that you can use in your cards. I'm also using the Stampin Up Balloon Celebration stamp set. I have a well-connected alphabet from My Favorite Things. You can use the letters to create your own words and make it look like you have a personalized stamp. I also have grabbed 2 sentiments from assorted stamp set that I have. I have die cuts which I will be using. This is the stitched heart. I'm using the third from the largest one for this. And also the fourth from the largest for the inside. I'm also using a Flourish Heart. These both were obtained on Amazon from a company called Whitelotus. They were very, very inexpensive. I'm also going to be using an embossing folder by Darice called Bamboo. I have a black fabric flower from the Paper Studio, Spare Parts. And I got these stickers, Roly Poly Panda from EK Success. I'm using 3 of these stickers. I thought they were very cute. I'm also using foam tape to pop up the different elements and regular tape runner to assemble the card. Another ink that I'll be using by Memento Cottage Ivy for the bamboo folder. The first thing I need to do is emboss the green cardstock. I have my Big Shot set up out of camera. I'll just take the green cardstock and put it in the embossing folder and run it to my Big Shot off camera. I'll be right back. For this part, you just take the ink pad and very lightly drag it across the raised part of your embossed paper. It is important that you do a really light hand so that you don't press down the imprint. And I wasn't sure which side I liked on this one, but I ended up choosing the side which was more down, less green than the other. And here you'll see me look at the 2 sides to decide which one I like, and I didn't like it. So it's difficult when you put adhesive on emboss. You can sometimes smash down the part that you want to stay raised. So I actually put the tape on the mat itself, being sure to stay within the border of the outer edge. And I flipped it over to make sure I get a good press on the glue. Now it's time to work on the inside of the card, and as I always mentioned, make sure that you have the valley side, which is the outside of the card on the outside, and the raised bump side is the inside of the card. And I'm just taping down the panel so far onto the front of the card base with my ATG gun. I highly recommend you get one if you don't have one yet. It really speeds up the gluing process. Now I'm going to just quickly glue this pattern paper down to the mat. And give it a good press to make sure it sticks good. And I'm now going to put my happy birthday sentiment in the lower part. Just straight down, straight up. And again, because it's photopolymer, I grabbed the stamp mat to give a little bit of pushback. And I have to clean that off, make sure it doesn't dry on my stamp. And it's looking good. Now I have quickly die cut out all the hearts that I needed. I have the pokey tool that I got from Stampin' Up to help me get the little bits loose from the filigree heart. And there is a brush and a pad that you can use to make this a little bit easier, but I found it was easier just to grab my pokey tool. And you can see how pretty it's come out. And I also have the heart that I'm using is a stitched heart edge, as you see, and it puts a stitching around the edge of the heart. It's really nice. And the green heart also has the same thing. And now I need to glue the black heart to the green heart so that you can see all the little details a little better. I'm moving a little bit of stuff out of the way, trying to make some room because I need to bring in the adhesive. I saw this trick on a video, I think Frances Martin did it, where she used a sponge to take the adhesive and just dab onto the back of the intricate parts. And I have just a little makeup sponge here that I grabbed out of the drawer, rather than trying to get glue on all those little small details. It can be really tricky. And the good part about this is you can avoid getting a lot of glue everywhere and getting your fingers all sticky. But as you see, I was moving a little slower than I needed to, so I still ended up having to struggle to get it off of the plastic bag. And it was still getting a little sticky in my hands, but I persevered and I got it lined up the way I wanted it. And just pressing down to make sure it sticks. And just need to let it sit for a second to dry. Now I'm bringing in the two panels again, and I'm getting the stickers. Let me show you again what they look like. I've already taken out the stickers that I want to use, and I have this pair of little panda babies, which are like my grandchildren, Lucas and Yvonne, and I want them to be one on each side of the pointed heart, so I needed to bring the heart back in to make sure I had it lined up right. So the first thing is to put the panel back on, glue it down, make sure that it is straight, and bring the heart in temporarily so I can make sure that when I put it down, it doesn't extend over the edge of the card, but I still have enough room on both sides of the point to put the little pandas. And I also want to use a little panda paw print to put it right above one of the little pandas' heads. And the little other panda, I have took it and put it on white cardstock and then cut around the outside to give it a little bit of border. I did this to give it a little bit more stability and so that I could pop it up on foam tape, which I've already put on there. I think the added dimension for the bigger panda made it look a lot nicer. And I didn't have the same panda that I did for the sample card, so I got this other one that's standing on its head. And the other little paw print will be for the inside of the card. Now I'm going to be very generous with the foam tape on the heart to pop it up from the front of the card. You just be sure that you put enough that you have support for the whole width of the card. There we go. And now the flower. Again, I didn't have this particular flower, but this is in the same pack. So I'm going to get another piece of foam tape for the back of the flower. I have yet to find a really good way to put these fabric flowers down without tearing them, but foam tape seems to work. I'm sure there's more effective adhesive, I just don't know it. And just pop it in place. Because this is really sticks out a lot. This, if you were to try to put this into, let me see if you can see it, envelope for the mail, you would need to add a little bit of extra padding over it and maybe put this in a larger envelope like you would mail CDs so that the post office doesn't destroy it in transit. Okay, now moving on to the inside of the card. Okay, the first step is to personalize the heart. I know that the name that I'm going to put on needs 2.5 inches of space, so I'm going to allow 3 inches. And to ensure that I get it straight, I need to get my ruler and pencil. So, lining it up on the grid paper and getting my ruler straight, I hope, I'll make a very light pencil line across the heart. After I finish the stamping, I will just erase that with a pencil. With an eraser. Because these are photopolymer stamps, which are the clear see-through ones, it helps to use a stamp pad. This I got from Stampin' Up, but you could use a mouse pad if you don't have this. This really helps a lot to get good impressions. So I already have the letters that I need on a block, so I won't lose any. So you just put it in place and pick it up with the stamp block and just go to town. This particular stamp set will make the letters connect and make it appear as if you have a complete word. You can make any word you want with this stamp set. That's why I love it, and I had to get it when I saw it for sale. So you just press down and hold it to make sure you get a good ink transfer. And I did. Be sure to clean this later because the photopolymer can stain very easily. And now I need to get the O. Now this, you just take where the first letter ends and you overlap with the second letter and it'll give you a continuous look. There. Now I need the A. I have been having trouble with the A, getting it lined up, but here's hoping. I'm going to get that off so I don't transfer all that extra to my cardstock. Okay. None of my fingers, because that would be annoying. Close. And now the N. and again with the A. Okay, looks good. Now I have this saying, make a wish. There. Now just to erase that pencil line. I should have waited just a second for this to dry. I got a little bit of smearing, but I can live with that. Okay, now bring my card base in again, and my inside sentiment. I use this sentiment in the sample card, so I've made a photocopy of it, and I am going to use this again. So this will not be vellum, it'll be cards copy paper. But I love this sentiment so much, I didn't want to choose another one, so I'm just going to use this, because this is just a sample card. And this in the lower corner, making sure it's straight. And this on a nice angle, upper corner. Now bringing back my little paw print. Come on, you. Okay. Gonna put it right over the exclamation point. There. So that's the finished card. It was not too much trouble. I like how it turned out. I hope you try this yourself. And if you have any questions about what materials I use, it'll all be linked below this video. And thank you for watching. Take care.